Welcome back to the Skiff. This is the Green Beret Life. I am Matt. That is Stu. We got a big show tonight, but first, to start the show out, a former teammate of mine, uh, his nickname is Uncle Fingers. That's a long story. We'll talk about that later, right? But his dog, he's got a beautiful German Shepherd named Goose, and recently he discovered some lumps on Goose. And Fingers is a 18 Delta. He was an 8. He was one of our medics on our team, and he kind of knows what he's doing medically wise. So brought Goose to the oncologist today, and it doesn't look good. So I'm going to request everybody out there put a prayer in for Goose to help pull Goose through this if there's a way, right? And to give both the doctors treating Goose and John, which is Uncle Fingers, guidance in this. Okay? So if everybody can, put out a prayer for Goose. All right? With that being said, Stu, what do we have on the docket tonight?
Well, we've got one of the biggest story that's been going around is obviously what happened to Charlie Kirk a few days ago. I tossed around getting a hold of you and doing a quick show on it, but I'm kind of glad we didn't, because it's given time for the story to actually develop some more and some concrete things come out versus, nothing but wild speculation and, guessing, which, although our guessing we would have been right on about 80% of what we would have been, guessing based on circumstances and what happened. But we're gonna talk about that. We've got another story. You had sent me a couple with that Mangione that killed the insurance CEO.
Yeah, United Healthcare CEO.
Yeah, there's been some development with charges against him. What else? There's been another Venezuelan drug boat blown out of the water, so that's always a good day. Trump is suing the New York Times for $15 billion for defamation and libel, which in the story, there's several other of these lawsuits he's put out and won. And for a public figure to win a defamation lawsuit is almost unheard of, because
it shows how extreme and radical and how blatant the lies are that they're pushing. And we're going to see more of that when we talk about the Charlie Kirk situation tonight. But yeah, it highlights what you're getting from these mainstream media outlets, and it's garbage, as everybody here already knows. So
yeah, because the level of that the person bringing the suit has to show is, especially for a public figure, much less a politician, is enormous. And for him to have won as many of these as he has, like you said, it just goes to show the ridiculousness of what passes as media today. We do have one really good story is Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, has basically told Adam Schiff to his face what everyone on the face of the planet with two brain cells to rub together knows. And this guy has need to have thrown in his face in public to absolutely humiliate him for years. And Kash absolutely came unspun, because Charlie Kirk and Kash, all of these guys, Dan Bongino, they were all really good friends. They were all, Bongino's probably older, but they were all, conservative.
I think Cash and Bongino are about the same age. They're
Yeah,
they're in their I think they're in their 50s,
but
right?
they kind of run in the same circles
Yeah.
as far as being real advocates for conservatism
Hmm.
and the Trump agenda and that sort of thing. So they were close. They were friends. So I'm
Yes.
sure Cash was in no mood for Schiff's nonsense, and he
Well,
absolutely lit
there was
into him.
there was a lot of criticism against Cash because he was quiet in the initial press conference out in Utah.
Right.
And I don't quite get that. What do you want him to do? Jump up and down? There's so much data coming in. Nobody knows what the hell is going on. And in those type of situations, and the Trump does this too. You shut up. You try to take in, figure out what the hell's going on instead of
Well,
talking.
and
So
to add on top of it, it was a good friend of his. You
yeah.
know, it's
Oh yeah.
it's it's got to be hard emotionally to keep it to where just like you said, on top of everything coming in, there's that aspect that's added on top of it.
And the video that everybody saw is brutal. I mean, that's something like that's shit you see overseas. You think about
Uh,
that,
I
right?
I didn't
And
even I didn't even watch it. I have no need to. I'm
yeah, I
good.
mean, it's pretty brutal. And there's some controversy out there right now. Was he wearing a low profile body chest plate? Was he not? Where the shot came from? There's just all of this right now. Uh, there's just so many different theories. I don't think I can tell you this. I don't know if we're being told the whole story at this stage. There's some things that simply don't add up to me, but that really doesn't even matter at this stage, right? It doesn't matter at this stage. Because there are so many theories and so many possibilities, and I think we need to let this unfold and figure out
Yes.
what's going on. I think we have a general idea of some of the players that were involved, and we're going to talk about that. But the video was absolutely brutal. He was dead instantly. I can tell you, he didn't suffer. Um, I know immediately after they were putting out, stories that he was in surgery and he's been stabilized, and I'm not quite sure why they did that, but
I,
anybody who saw the
again, I
video
think.
knew
I,
he was dead.
yeah,
Okay.
I can't
So
imagine that anybody that's in the middle of doing anything to do what they can to perform life-saving measures is calling anyone and chatting. It's
mhm.
somebody at the hospital, somebody knew somebody that heard something, that saw something, that smelled something, and
Mhm.
it's somebody making a report to get a click.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. I mean, I can't imagine whatsoever that it would go.
It could have been hopeful too.
It could have.
who knows what, but anybody who saw that know that Charlie passed away before his back even hit the back of the chair. I mean that
Yeah.
it was brutal. You knew it was a rifle round. You could tell by the way it impacted him, and and the whole thing is still kind of surreal. But boy, has it ignited people in this country, because it's flushed out of the shadows these radical leftists that are cheering this on. There was a rumor
Just
too.
straight,
Yeah,
just straight ghoulish behavior.
yeah. Oh, they're demons, dude. They
It is.
there was a. It's funny. All of these teachers are getting fired, and there was a
That is
rumor here.
insane.
There's a rumor here. I'm going to put allegedly. One of the nicest areas in Minnesota is a town called Wayzata, right? And Wayzata is right on Lake Minnetonka. It's on the north side of Lake Minnetonka. It's beautiful. And allegedly, the eighth grade class was cheering when they found out. Who teaches them that? Who teaches these kids this? all of these teachers posting on TikTok celebrating this, these people don't deserve to be teachers. And massive amounts of firings have ensued, but you're seeing the brain damage that has been brought on by
Yeah.
social media, the media in general, and the education system in this country. I mean, they
Well,
have
and Matt,
turned. Go ahead.
this was a guy that did nothing but have a difference of opinion.
And he was moderate. He was not a
Yes.
hardcore. The way they're describing Charlie Kirk was not a hardcore right winger. Okay,
And he would take.
He wasn't.
And he, because I've seen tons of his clips and excerpts from his events and stuff. But one of the things that he always said, that he, when they're like, why are you here? Why are you? It was always, when you can't have a conversation, when conversation stops, that's when violence is the only option. That's when violence starts. He was always adamant about talking about things, and he would invite whomever to come up and talk to him. And he didn't say, oh, nope, you got to go. You got to go. I mean, it was whoever wanted to come up to the microphone.
Yeah.
And, I'm just there thinking, it's like, if they're willing to kill the person that is like, hey, let's talk about our problems, what's left?
Since we're already on this story, Stu.
Yeah, this is going to be the lead. Yeah, obviously.
Another thing we wanted to say is ByteDance was TikTok had. There's been an agreement with the U.S. buyer, and TikTok within the next 30 to 45 days will be sold to a U.S. buyer. We don't know more details than that. So those are the details we have. We don't have any more. Okay. But that's good news, because I've never downloaded TikTok, and because it's a Chinese-owned platform, and boy, is it full of bullshit, as we were just talking about a second ago, with these ghouls coming out celebrating Charlie death. TMZ in the background when it was announced that Charlie Kirk had died, a big cheer goes off with the whole staff back, and they try to make up some bullshit saying that, oh, it was a car chase that they were cheering about, and it was so much bullshit. This is disgusting. Fuck these people, quite frankly. Fuck these people. Anybody cheering for some bullshit like that is a demon, as far as I'm concerned, and it's completely fucking evil, right?
There's people, there are people I wouldn't shed a tear over if they stepped out in front of a bus, but to be so, just, I guess, I can't even think of the word for it, but just to go out there and dance and cheer and caper around and just make a scene that a father was just killed of two small girls. A husband was just killed.
A guy who had done nothing wrong was not.
But say, hey, let's talk. Let's talk about our differences of opinion.
He was not anything to what was put out there. Oh, he's a Nazi. He's this. He's that. And these people repeating this bullshit. The people repeating this bullshit have never even listened to him. Right? No, never even listened to him. They're just being fed that info.
If, as far as they're concerned, Charlie Kirk is a Nazi, is a fascist, is
well, they're weaponizing all of this, and their definitions have changed. They've changed the definition because these people are the truer definition of fascist, right?
Yeah,
you're not supposed to say
murdering people that have a difference of opinion. Yeah.
You have this clown Destiny going on Piers Morgan's show, basically saying more deaths need to happen so people put pressure on their politicians and shut this all down. Right?
Yes. Yeah, I heard that, and I'm like,
that's the true.
They're listening to it, and he's saying basically
of fascism right there. Yeah,
he's basically saying we are justified to murder our opposition until we get our way. That was the point he was making. I tried to find that video. That I meant to look for it, to pull it up, to play it, but it was basically, yes, because and again, this was his words, because the right refuses to turn down the heat.
Well,
I'm sorry, we weren't the ones burning down cities.
It's funny that people were banned off of social media. We were victims of this for mentioning anything about the vaccine or any of the possible treatments of that illness that was here before. I got to be careful with what I say.
Yeah.
So any of the possible therapeutics that you may have mentioned or anything else, you were being banned, right? So now you've got, I believe they're on Twitch, right? So you have this guy,
it's owned by Amazon.
You have Hassan. What'd you say?
Twitch is owned by Amazon.
Yeah. So you have Hassan Piker and all of these guys calling for straight up murdering people, right? On these platforms. And what the platform isn't doing anything about it because these individuals are so big on those platforms. So what has to happen is, this isn't about cancel culture or anything else. You need to hit those advertisers and bring this to everybody's attention and say, you know what? You support this shit, I ain't supporting your company, right?
Yeah.
You know, you question that damn vaccine, boy, you were booted, right? These guys are straight up calling for murder. Twitch isn't doing a damn thing about it. And
I mean, there were doctors being kicked off of YouTube and off of platforms of being deplatformed. Doctors that was their job, was doctoring. Yep. And they're like, nope, we don't like your opinion. Go under the jail. You know, believe it or not, straight to jail.
Exactly. So, and then they were going after some of those doctors and going after their medical license.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is insane. It's absolutely insane, but I think the world is waking up. And unfortunately, this incident happened. If there's anything to come from this that's a positive, it's, boy, the demons have exposed themselves, man. They have exposed themselves.
And
out there cheering for somebody's death like that.
The media was turning themselves into in knots, trying to make this a right-wing attack.
Yeah, like, that's what they told us. A conservative
wasn't conservative enough, and that's why this other group of conservatives killed it. They were trying to blame it on Nick Fuentes and some of the people that follow him. Well, Charlie Kirk wasn't right-wing enough, so these other right-wingers decided
so
to
much
kill
bullshit.
him.
And then it comes out how they use that, Stu. How they used that was, he was raised in a conservative Mormon family and his parents supported Trump. So they were trying to say he lived at home and he was one of them because he was raised by them. He lived with a furry transitioning transvestite. That's what he was living with. That was his lover, right?
Yes.
So
allegedly from the text messages that have been released.
Yeah. So the parents have already said that, not just from the text messages that's been released. The mother said he's dating his boyfriend who's transitioning to a woman, right?
I haven't seen that. I just saw the text messages.
Nope. The mother said that. The family said he'd become more radically liberal over the last 2 years. Really focused on gay, transgender, LGBTQ issues, hated, and I guess the family of the boyfriend too, who's the furry trans, right? Also stated hates Christians, hates conservatives, just their mind has been destroyed, right? Basically. And now they're saying that there were, prior to this, the townhome that he shared with the furry transvestite, right? Stu, can you explain what a furry is?
I'm not even going to attempt it.
It's these people.
If any of you are curious, do a Google search in incognito mode.
I'm going to explain. It's these people, and it's primarily associated with the gay and lesbian community, right? That believe that they are that they are an animal, and they get involved with uh, sexual poses and shit as these animals, right? And that's about all I understand through it. Okay, it's more of a gay and lesbian thing,
Yeah,
and
it's basically, people that they take on the traits or behaviors thinking that they're a wolf or a dog or a cat or a dragon or
a deer
whatever. And
yeah.
yeah, and that's kind of a sexualized thing for them, and that's what does it. That's what gets their motor running. So, to each their own, but I I don't get it. But you got to have a whole lot going on to be, to have that many adjectives describing your sexuality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So, anyways, so now they're saying that there's, prior to this happening, there's a lot of chatter of people in the trans community that knew what was going to happen ahead of time, and they were bragging about it all over social media. Some of the things we said, there's something that's not right with this. One of
Yeah.
the things that isn't right is the text stream that they released today kind of made it look like the boyfriend didn't know about it, right?
Yeah,
When other
that
people, well, hold on, Stu, when other people within the whole trans community were already talking about it via social media. Something's going to happen tomorrow. It's going to be big with Charlie Kirk.
yeah,
You're going to see it.
yeah.
Da 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 da. Basically, stating this was going to happen before it happened. So it turns out that neighbors had stated that there were a bunch of cars that appeared at their townhouse with um, out of state license plates, right? So,
Really, I've not seen that report.
oh yeah, the out of state license plates, and this was like a week in advance, right?
Mm.
And then the messages started appearing. Something's gonna happen. Da 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 da. Charlie Kirk is in town. Some of them were basically saying something's gonna happen to Charlie Kirk. A bunch of this shit went down like that, right?
Yeah, I saw a bunch of the little excerpts of there's going to be something big tomorrow. I hope it happens.
Yeah.
And you're
Charlie
right.
Kirk's going to get obliterated, da 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 da, by
I've
somebody
got
named
the
Omar or somebody else, and the there this individual that jumped up immediately and said that he had shot Kirk when it happened, and then was telling the cops to shoot him, shoot him, shoot him. His name is, I believe, is George Zen, some local goofy nut job, older guy, and they're now saying that he did this to cause a distraction for the shooter to get away, but basically alluded that he didn't know who the shooter was, right? So he
yeah.
just did this on his own organically. This sounds like bullshit to me right off the bat. I think the text stream that we got today was bullshit right off the bat, right?
Here it is, Matt.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, it almost seems staged.
Yeah.
Uh, this Tyler texts his boyfriend, "Drop what you're doing. Look under my keyboard," and it comes back. What? You're joking, right? I'm still okay, but I'm stuck in Orem, whatever that is, for a little while. I mean, it just
Orem, Utah. Yeah.
oh, is it? Oh, it's a town. Okay,
Yeah.
but it just seems very very staged and performative.
Mhm.
I mean, because I guess my thing is, and maybe it's me being, a crotchety old man, is if I got this message, drop what you're doing, look under your keyboard, there
Stu,
wouldn't be
read
a
the whole
second
list.
text message.
Read the
I'd be
whole
calling.
read the whole text stream, dude. Read the whole text stream.
This is as far as this one goes.
Oh, he's talking, my love. I'm so
Oh
worried
yeah,
about you.
yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't tell you.
Oh wait, hold on.
Bullshit.
It goes. Here we go. Yeah, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I'm able to grab my rifle, blah blah blah. But my point is though. Well, I guess that's not going to load or whatever. It just, if it were me and I got to drop what you're doing, look under my keyboard, I got whatever they had, there would be no more text train. It would be a phone call. What is going on? What is it wouldn't be these, oh, question mark, you did it. Oh, I caught that. What? No, this is all just performative nonsense as far as I'm concerned. It would be, how long have you been planning this? And we've got a dissertation here, How long have you been planning this? Meaning, I had no idea.
I had no idea, but everybody else seemed to know. The whole trans community, except me, seemed to know that this was going to go on, at the local trans community in Orem, Utah, and other places, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't know. Oh, thank you for shielding me from this, my love.
So,
right.
Well, here we go, Matt. Just this. All right. From the how long have you been planning this? There's all of this text here. Then we go over to more text here. More text here. At no point in all of this text, how many messages? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 messages, some of them very long. Was there any other comment from this person? It's why it all seems staged.
Well, here's another thing. I think it serves their purpose, because the rhino side of things, including that governor out there, is a rhino, right? Even though they're saying they're going after the death penalty and this and that and the other thing, they want to make it sound like this kid did it on his own. There's no freaking way. Okay, now with all the other evidence that has come out, there's no way that's the case. They want to tie this up with a little bow and take care of it, right? And have it be done. This kid did not do this, because this is going to expose the whole if they already haven't been exposed, the whole trans community and what a mental illness it is. So it used to be, sexual dysphoria. I believe that's what it's called, right? A gender dysphoria, right?
Gender dysphoria.
Gender dysphoria used to be listed in the DSM-5 as a mental illness. The LGBTQ community lobbied in the 80s to get this removed from the DSM-5, right? And so that, because they're able to lobby and get it removed, makes it no longer a mental illness, right? Right? So, yeah, gender dysphoria is a mental illness, and you're starting to see how broken these individuals are, and not just them, these radical leftists that have been so indoctrinated at these universities and on social media. The Discord chat was the other big thing where they were all discussing this ahead of time. So
I want to ask you a question real quick, because again, like I said, I don't understand that and that mindset and what someone is thinking or going through whenever they think they're in the wrong body, whatever. There was a doctor. Did you see the story about this doctor that I forget what it was he did. He injured his lower legs to the point that they had to be amputated.
What?
And he did this because he felt as though he should be an amputee. And all these people are talking about, oh, what he did is illegal. It's ridiculous. He should lose his medical license. And it's all of this, that, and I'm thinking to myself, again, not in that headspace whatsoever, but from the outside looking in, saying, what is the difference? If you think you're in the body that doesn't match your what your perception is, and it's to that degree.
To what the reality is. If you think you're in a different body that doesn't match the reality of the world, right?
Right.
You're either a male or you're a female.
My point is like, what one of them is okay and one of them isn't, and I don't understand the difference. I'm not sure that I want to, but I just thought I'd bring it up. I don't think
there is a difference. I don't think there is.
I don't either. I don't know.
If you think you're a friggin' deer, right? There's mental illness there. I'm sorry. Nobody's saying gay is a mental illness, but gender dysphoria is a mental illness, right? So, well, it used to be considered a mental illness, and it probably needs to go back in there because this is a real problem. You're starting to see all of these, like the last 10 alleged shooters, right? Mass shooters are all trans. You know,
Yeah.
isn't that odd?
Well, and see, the
And
thing is, the left will tell you that's Charlie Kirk's fault.
oh yeah,
That's Donald
yeah.
Trump's fault. You know what,
It's always
what it reminds me of,
somebody
Matt?
else's fault
Well, you know what
because
it reminds me of? It reminds me of the out of work alcoholic in the trailer park and the greasy wife beater beating on his wife, saying, "Look what you made me do."
yeah,
That's what they remind me of. It's not their fault. It's everybody else's fault, and it's just like, no, that's not the way any of this works.
yeah. So there's a bunch of people involved. There's Discord chats. Allegedly, Discord try to shut it down, and after the fact, and say no, there's no connection, and no.
I saw that where it looked like they were trying to say no, there weren't any chats, and it turns out there were.
There were plenty of chats. And there's other places where this was going on too. Then they all seem to know, but the boyfriend didn't know. My ass. Nobody's buying this.
Yeah.
And if you think that crazy dude, George Zinn or whatever his name is, was doing that in a vacuum, I would also say the guy jumping up and down and cheering, he needs to be looked into because he came on and gave two different reasons that he's did, and you can tell this guy is just A, he's dumb as fuck, and B, he's lying his ass off. And the guy that asked
there, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, and I guess here's my rationale for that. I mean, when most people have they have no idea how to react when there's gunfire leading to death, and someone that is not prepared for that, it is extremely disturbing and shocking, and that fight or flight panic mode sets in, the lizard brain kicks in, and for this person to literally seconds after it happens to process everything that just happened, and that reaction to be cheering and pumping the fist and jumping up and down,
looking back to where the shot came from.
Hey,
no, hold on. Looking back to where the shot came from too, and cheering.
Well, he did turn around. I don't know which relative. I don't know which direction.
It's already been established. He was looking back to where the shot came from. Yes, cheering. So,
but it just,
but this guy's a nut job. But the guy asking the question too, who came on and seemed so hurt about all of this, they start showing his background too, and he's sitting in his room at his home, and he's got the Antifa flag, he's got the gay flag, he's got everything, Black Lives Matter flag. You're going to find out that this was all a setup, and I bet you these guys were involved. They already are looking at him, right?
Yeah.
In addition to the whole trans community that was discussing it ahead of time that it was going to happen, right? I mean, it's no secret that it's obviously reached conspiracy levels, because these guys were already communicating ahead of time what was going to happen the next day. So
it may well be that the guy asking questions was involved or had foreknowledge of it, but I don't see his position being, I guess, necessary for the plan to fall.
If you wanted him to be sitting a specific way, addressing somebody as they were propped up, right?
Well, he always sits there. If you watch any of his videos, he's always sitting and.
Okay, but he might be sitting there, but somebody comes up and asks a question, because this guy was off sort of like not in the center, but he was a little bit to the left, right? So he was sitting there just staring right at him, which opened himself up to where the this what could have been. This is just a guess,
Yeah.
right? Whereas if somebody was asking from the far left, he's going to turn to his left and address the guy right there, making less of a target of himself, right?
And you're right.
So,
Maybe they do have multiple. I was thinking they had one microphone. They could have multiple
no,
stations.
I think it's
set
a
up.
microphone. I think it's a microphone that I think I've seen it both ways, where they do come up to a dais, right? And
Yeah, I've seen where they come up to a microphone, a microphone on a stick.
Seen where they give them, a microphone to talk from. And this guy was not standing direct center. He was off to the left a little bit, right? So, I mean,
there's going to be a lot. And like I said, I've seen, reporting that there's still, hundreds of investigations going on down different pathways to track this back to the root.
Yeah,
but
I mean, we have any comments, dude? We haven't talked about any yet, and we should hit some comments.
Yeah. Troy had said, well, prayer sent for Goose. And
thank you.
When we were talking about the video of Charlie Kirk, Troy said he was hopeful on the condition, but the video was brutal. And I responded, I said, yeah, I was the same way. I saw the video and knew better, but I was still hoping. And Troy also said a lot of character has been revealed by this, and that's absolutely true. There are a lot of the conservative influencers and stuff that I'll watch videos and this of, and a lot of them have come out and said and they've said people I never would have thought that were just run of the mill, just default Democrats have been celebrating this as if it were a good thing. And it just shows how disconnected people are and how deep the divide is getting. And it's honestly scary. It is honestly scary, the divide, because it used to be, well, we agree on 80% of things, but we differ on how to get there. And it's turned into, over the past 15 or 20 years, of, if you disagree with me, you're Hitler and punch a Nazi, and you're transphobe. You want to exterminate people. Now you have a difference of opinion, so we kill you.
Yeah. What Charlie Kirk was an American success story. He was a kid, okay, who was motivated. He wasn't really originally motivated by religion. He became a Christian, I think, or became outspoken as a Christian somewhere around 2021-ish, 2020, 2021-ish. But he was very motivated on the America First cause and Donald Trump. And he got somebody to foot the money to help him start Turning Point. And he basically built Turning Point, right, into this massive empire. And where Charlie Kirk was extremely effective was with young people. And that's young people went for Donald Trump, young males especially. And this is really, when you start looking at it, this is why he was hated by the left, not because he was any of those things. Charlie Kirk was a moderate. He wasn't anti-gay. He wasn't anti this. He wasn't any of that, right? He was a Christian, and he basically espoused traditional American values, right? That's all he did. He wasn't any of the things that people are saying, but what he did to really ignite the left was he was effective at reaching young people and pointing out how morally bankrupt the left was, and pointing out how wrong this indoctrination that they've been getting pounded into their heads at these universities, their high schools, and their grade schools before that is. And that's what really, I think, set him off, and what set mainstream media and the whole machine, just spitting out fire at him, pushing this propaganda narrative that he was all of these things.
Well, here you go, Matt. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Finish your point.
They know they can manipulate the rubes out there. Like I said earlier on, most of the people that they were interviewing and talking, oh, he's a Nazi, he's anti-women, he's racist, he's all of these things, never heard Charlie Kirk speak. These are things that were put in their head by
Yeah.
the machine that was going after not just Kirk, but all of us, to be honest with you, all of us.
All right.
And uh, that's the end result of this.
Well, to your point, this is the text message I sent you. I'm
Mhm.
reading the text message I sent you the other day. I
Okay.
said, so this kid was 22.
Mhm.
10 years ago, Trump announced he was running for president. So since this guy was 12 years old, almost half of his life, all he's heard is how evil Trump is, how he's a fascist, a Nazi, and a racist. The media
Mhm.
constantly used that brush to paint all conservatives for the last decade.
Yes.
Now they, being the media, have the shocked Pikachu face and clutch their pearls, proclaiming they have no idea how this happened and blame right wing rhetoric for this guy committing murder.
But it's not just the media, Stu. It's
No,
education. It's
it is.
media education. That's what it is. So, and you could add social media in there too, right?
Well, and that's where it comes from him. And
Mhm.
again, this guy is 22. He was raised with a phone in his hand,
Mhm.
with social media
Hanging out
of
on
all
Reddit.
sorts.
Hanging out on
Yeah.
Reddit. Yeah.
Oh, it's a cesspool. I doom scroll Reddit for other things that aren't political, but it's funny. I'll see a story and I'll make a bet with myself is I can't get through the first 5 comments without it being political or Trump or something.
Mhm.
And I pretty much win 8 out of 10 times with stuff. Somebody's like, oh, I was somewhere and had a flat tire. And by the fifth one, well, tires are so expensive because of Trump's tariffs. And I'm like, it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
But how much of that is bots? How much of
Yeah.
that is just bullshit bots
Oh, yeah.
from?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you don't even know because the machine that's behind all of this, which Trump has announced he's going after, he's designating, all of these non-governmental organizations which get our taxpayer money, the George Soros types, right? All of these people who have facilitated this nonsense, who has facilitated riots. I mean, those piles of bricks don't just get there by themselves. Somebody has to pay for
Right.
that.
And the
Transporting these clowns around the country to protest after
well,
protest and paying them
remember one
has
of
to
them,
come
Matt,
from
where the
somewhere.
guy shows up with a whole truck full of respirators
Yeah,
and
exactly.
dumps them off. It's like that even if I go to Home Depot and say, give me all of the respirators that you have, I might get 20
When you see
or
the
30,
illegals landing on beaches in Europe in brand new
like
Zodiacs, all
Normandy.
with life jackets on, somebody's paying for that, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well,
I mean,
remember, like the convoys coming from South America, and
correct.
they're arriving with clean clothes, fully charged cell phones, and still 60 pounds overweight. It's like
Yeah.
your ass did not walk from Venezuela,
They
bitch. Get
wanted
out of
you to
here.
think that these people were walking 2,000 miles carrying babies with them. It's so much bullshit. Then it comes out that we're flying half of them in here from these countries, anyways, you know?
Yeah.
So it's so much bullshit. Everybody knows it. It's exposed. Everybody sees it. Everybody knows that USAID was not US aid, right? Everybody knows what
USAIDs.
USAID was being used for. Yeah, it should be called US AIDS, correct. So,
Because it's
I mean,
killing us.
and then we just got a whole week that this kid was a conservative, pounding it and pounding it and pounding it and pounding it. Now they have egg on their face, and now it's getting bigger and bigger. And I just hope it doesn't. I hope this investigation isn't stopped, and I don't think it's going to be. Um,
Well,
but
one of the things that we've obviously spent a great deal of time talking about the Charlie Kirk because that's one of the biggest things. But I do want to bring up at least one or two other stories that we've got because the world continues to spin. But one for us that gives us the warm fuzzy feeling is the Kash Patel in a Senate hearing
yeah, it was
where
today.
he
Yeah.
Yeah, he pretty much filleted Schiff on air for God and everybody to see.
Now, say that again. What did he do with Schiff?
He filleted Schiff. Fillet, like fish fillet, like split him open for, those words.
Okay. You could have probably used a better term, but okay.
I probably could, but my vocabulary is limited.
I think you
born and raised in South Georgia.
I think you were reading too much into this furry talk. But go ahead.
Wait, what? See, no.
Yeah.
You're the one that's got to make it weird, Matt, always. So
go ahead and show what Cash Money had let loose on Schiff today in the Senate.
He is now Cash Money. He is on Kash Patel. So what Schiff decided is important into the country right now, even though it was no big deal the entire Biden administration. And again, I still think the Epstein files, I still think there's ridiculousness going on there. But with everything going on in the country right now, this is what Schiff goes after. And it's the fact that Ghislaine Maxwell was moved. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Schiff is saying the Bureau of Prisons decided on their own, without any consultation with anyone, that they were going to suddenly, after this interview, completely unrelated to this interview, move her to a prison not suitable for a sex offender.
Why would they need, first of all, to consult with anybody on where they're going to move a prisoner, right?
Yeah, Bureau of Prisons do their own thing. Yeah. Well, and so Schiff is like, you want the American people to believe that? Do you think they're stupid? Patel fires back. He goes, no, I think the American people believe the truth, that I'm not in the weeds on the everyday movements of inmates. What I'm doing is protecting this country, providing historic reform, and combating weaponization of intelligence by the likes of you. And we have countlessly proven you to be a liar in Russiagate in January 6th. You're the biggest fraud to ever sit in the United States Senate. You're a disgrace to this institution and an utter coward. He goes on.
And hopefully soon he will be a convicted felon for all of his shenanigans with his mortgage scams that he was playing. So,
well, he goes on and he says, I'm not surprised that you continue to lie from your perch and put on a show so you can go raise money for your charade. You're a political buffoon at best. Take it to the bank that the FBI is protecting this country and the state and citizens of California. But all you care about is a child sex predator that was prosecuted by a prior administration, and the Obama Justice Department and the Biden Justice Department did squat. And what did Trump do? Brought new charges courageously. And what have we done? You said I'm the most transparent FBI director in history. 33,000 pages of information I've given over to you. I challenge you to say anything credibly to the truth. Go ahead and run to the cameras where you want to go now. I mean, and we've all seen Schiff and his schmarmy, and it's just, we've so wanted him to be laid into, and it's so great to see some of these, political appointees. That's what they are. They're appointed by the politician in charge. They're by definition a political appointee. But most of them are most of them are just so, milk toast and, oh, Senator, thank you for the question. It's a pleasure to. Cash is just like, what? I don't have time for your nonsense. I've got real work to do. I'm going to call you out. I'm going to go back to doing my real work. And it's a beautiful thing.
Exactly. He's a pile of trash. Everybody knows he's a pile of trash. The Senate's full of trash, to be honest with you. But
yeah. And like you said, his mortgage thing, we talked about that. We're supposed to believe that his primary residence for himself, his wife, and his children are, what was it, a 600 square foot condo in California, and the multi-$1,000 mansion that he has in Virginia is not his primary residence. It's just like, to go back and quote Adam Schiff, you want the American people to believe that? Do you think they're stupid?
And that's just one aspect of everything that he had done. The bigger crime is the manipulation for the lower interest rates, which seems to be a scam for all of these individuals. The alleged deal.
Yeah,
That
and
but
for those of you that don't know, whenever you have your primary residence, you qualify for a lower mortgage rate. When
mhm.
it's your secondary residence or a rental property or something of that sort, you don't qualify for that lower interest rate. You're paying a higher interest rate, which means you're paying more over the life of the loan for the property. So by lying about this, he's basically defrauding these banking institutions and mortgage lenders out of hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah,
I mean, how is that not theft by deception?
for sure, for sure.
But
We have any other comments, Stu, that we need to address?
we do. Uh, Troy said he did email you, so double check your email
Oh,
and
he
your
did.
spam.
Okay, we have. Okay, all right. We were talking
I
about
told
that
him
right before the show, Troy.
yeah, I told him you'd look, but I'd remind you to double check.
Okay.
JG's popped in. He said, and he's reiterating something we said earlier. He said, Charlie Kirk stated that when civil discourse is not tolerated, we would end in violence. This is why he wanted an open dialogue. And I replied, I said, yes, absolutely. When you kill the opposition that wants to talk, what's left?
Yeah.
And George Soros and the Open Society Foundation.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a lot, man. Like we said, I'm not sure. Some of the people I watch, one of the phrases they use is, where's our off ramp? How do we get off of this trajectory?
Yeah.
And I mean, I really think what Charlie was doing was providing an off ramp, was giving way to conversation to resolve
for young people that are getting blasted with an agenda. That's what they're if they're in school, they're getting blasted, hyper blasted.
Well, like you said, eighth graders cheering.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Eighth graders are what? 14, 13, 14?
No. Yeah, 13, I think. Yeah, somewhere around there.
12, 13, 14.
Yeah.
What 12, 13, 14-year-old that has not been indoctrinated? And granted, the world has changed with technology and what kids have access to, just on their phone. But 12, 13-year-olds know who Charlie Kirk is.
You have people filming their kids, and this mother says these two little girls that can't be any older than 5, like 4 or 5. Guess who was assassinated today? And they're all excited, and they're like, Trump? And she's like, no. The vice president? She's like, no.
What?
Yeah. Videotaping them and then laughing and making a joke about all of this. And then you have other people going on there saying to go after Charlie Kirk's wife and his kids. Right. And then they're all boo-hooing because they're getting fired from their jobs. And the funny thing is, but
the right incites violence, Matt.
Yeah.
The incitement of violence comes from the right.
It's a surprisingly large number of freaking teachers. And now some students are recording with their phones these teachers going off on their rants. And it's like, are you kidding? They're so stupid. It's not just being stupid. It's being so arrogant in the fact that they think they can get away with this.
Oh, I'd have been the biggest freaking narc with that kind of nonsense going on. I'd have to be homeschooled. I'd have been kicked out. Yeah. I really would have. It wouldn't have ended well for me.
Just miserable, disgusting, evil freaking people. And that's you're rooting it out, and you're seeing it in the school districts at a proportionately high level. And no wonder these kids are under that barrage, because they are getting it spoon-fed to them from a very young age all the way through college by a corrupt education system. And they're getting the trifecta from their entertainment on social media to video games to the mainstream media to the education that they're getting. So it's You could add peer networks within in the social media side too, because they're in these echo chambers, like on these
Oh yeah,
Discord
they're
sites.
they're in these
Yeah.
TikTok echo chambers, these Discord groups.
Mhm.
And that's what I was saying before. This since this kid was 12 years old,
Mhm.
this is all he's heard,
Yeah.
and it's because once it's algorithmically funneled to you.
Mhm.
I'll sit here for work and I'll look up something on my computer to order some material for a job site, and I've got the ads popping up on my phone for a month.
Mhm.
The same thing happens with TikTok, with Facebook, with whatever. You click on one, you spend a little bit of time there, it starts being funneled to you. The algorithm feeds it
Mhm.
to you.
Mhm.
And so you start down this thing and it continues to grow, and they're literal children that do not have the ability to realize what's happening. Oh,
Mhm.
they have the blinders on this. All they see, and this right here is the world. There's
Yeah.
nothing over here. There's nothing
Yeah.
out here. It's all right here. It's all what's in front of me. It's all what's in my phone. This is what's happening. He is a Nazi. He is a fascist. He wants to exterminate people.
Mhm.
And for half of his life, Matt,
Yeah. Oh
that's
yeah.
what he heard. It
And
just
yeah, and they're going to have to do something with the education system in this country. They're going to have to. It is so corrupt. It is so broken. It is so damaged, and it makes you wonder why the American students perform so poorly on the world stage with test results, right?
no,
And
you misspoke, Matt. It doesn't make you wonder why. It shows you why.
exactly, yes, exactly. So there is the long and short of that. So, oh boy.
Well,
One of the other
I've
things,
got
one of the
I've
other
got
things
one
I
more.
wanted, hold on. One of the other
Go
things I
ahead.
wanted to
Go ahead.
mention today is Robert Redford died. Nobody's talking about this. He died in his sleep. I didn't know he was 89 years old. Did you?
I did not.
Yeah, I think I read that right. He was 89 years
Yep.
old. So that's
89.
what was the other story that you had you wanted to talk about, Stu?
Yeah, it's another one to. I mean, we had our feel good story, so now here's our piss you off story to send you guys to bed. Um, well, ICE has had assaults increase. Had 1,000% increase in assaults against ICE agents.
Mm-hmm.
Despite that, these are the future Nobel Prize winners that they're pulling off the street that the Democrats are fighting hand over fist to keep in your communities. You've got this guy right here: criminal contempt, use of a child less than 17 years of age in a sexual performance, criminal sex act, and rape in New York, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon in Texas,
Oh,
trafficking
Stu,
cocaine.
hold that thought for a second. Remember
Go
we were
ahead.
talking about that guy George Zinn, right?
Yes.
Who was saying, "Shoot me, shoot me, shoot me."
Yes.
Allegedly, he turns his phone over to the police, and guess what's on that phone? Just take a
Child
guess.
porn.
There it
Child
is.
porn.
That's what was on the
Yep.
phone. And I don't know if we're even allowed to say this on YouTube. We just did. But that allegedly was what was on his phone. Isn't it funny the type of people we're dealing with here and who they are?
Yeah.
And now you're seeing what Stu's going through here is a lot of these cases. Wasn't somebody was just beheaded by an immigrant? Did you hear this? And the previous charges against this immigrant were uh underage bullshit, sexual with underage, right?
No, I haven't seen that story.
Yeah. Yep.
Was it in the
It's a guy
was
from
it in the
Cuba.
U.S.?
Yep, it was in the U.S. and is an individual that was here illegally from Cuba.
Wow.
He beheaded somebody in front of his family, right?
Damn it.
Yeah.
But like
Isn't it
again,
funny
this guy.
these stories that you're not hearing? You know what else?
Yeah.
I don't
You
know
would.
what there was a school shooting in Colorado the same
The same
day,
day as Charlie Kirk. Yeah,
and you're not hearing anything about it. Anything.
that is true.
Which tells
That is
you, which makes
that
me
tells you everything
wonder,
you need to
being the
know,
cynic
doesn't
I
it?
am. Yeah. So, yeah.
But a guy like that, this guy trafficking cocaine, this guy second-degree rape, this guy convicted of murder. These are the people they're pulling out of here. And this guy here that was convicted of murder had been previously sentenced 20 years to life.
Does it say what state he's in? Does it say what state he's in?
Well, he was convicted of murder in New York.
So he's in
Buffalo.
New York. Is he a New York dad?
Buffalo Nabby.
Is he a New York dad?
Yeah. No, he's a Buffalo. He's a Buffalo father.
Yeah, he's a family man. Yeah.
But it's that's things like, so this guy was here illegally, murdered someone, was convicted of that murder, sentenced 20 years, and still said, okay, you're good to stay here. No.
Yeah, exactly.
But what other country can I go to and rape, murder, and pillage and still go to illegal, not even legally or illegally, and do this and be allowed to stay?
No.
It's
and not be thrown in jail. Yeah, on top
or
of
even
that,
if you're thrown in jail, being allowed to stay after you get out of jail. You've proven
and released. Yeah, there. I mean, this is nuts. American people know it's nuts.
But you have a section of the population and the body politic that advocate and fight for it. They absolutely fight for it. And if you're like Charlie and you disagree, you're a racist and you need to be killed.
Well, they're not just after Charlie, and this was the point I was trying to make before. It's all of us who have these same ideas. It's all of us. They're just the people that are highlighted. President Trump, Charlie Kirk, right? And anybody else that they look at that's a public figure, they're the ones that they highlight. But once they're out of the way, because we're the problem, because we think this way. Just if you're listening to what Destiny was saying today, or the other day on Piers Morgan, if anybody can come across that video, to go listen to this clown. And he does this all the time. So, he's
also the one that got
target
cut by his wife.
Yeah, or something like that. I know there was another story that had to do with that, but one other story. This Mangione clown, right? Are you there, Stu?
Yeah, I'm looking. I was trying to find a short video clip of the Destiny thing, but go ahead.
So this Mangione, the government was charging him with domestic terrorism, and apparently the judge threw it out today, the domestic terrorist charge, which I don't know, man. I don't know where this judge is going. I don't want to say anything bad about the judge, because apparently he knocked some things down from the other side too, and I don't understand the logic and the reasoning behind it, but to me, that doesn't sound right. Why would he be knocking that down? So we're gonna see where this all plays out. That's another guy that the left made a hero of, and for walking up behind somebody and shooting him in the head in New York, because he was in an industry that people didn't like, the healthcare industry.
Hey, I found that video, Matt. It's about 5 minutes. I'm going to play at least part of it so we can see what this nutball's saying, and the guys can see what we were talking about. That we're not blowing it out of proportion. His stance is literally the killing should continue until enough pressure is put on Trump to give us what we want.
To give them what they want. When you say us, he's talking about their side, what they want.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So let me share this screen. And let me know if you can hear this.
Kirk posted a Charlie's coffin. You responded, she tagged him brackets, crying face emojis. In response to Alina Haber's tweet ordering people to fly their flags at half-mast in memory of Charlie, you posted on X buying flags and poles just to fly them fully erect. And you then posted yesterday, ending every conservative debate call out I do in 2026 with "Don't dodge, bro. That's not what Charlie would have wanted." I mean, do you think that your response to the cold-blooded murder of Charlie Kirk has been appropriate?
Yes. I think that the only way this country moves forward into a better world is when conservatives can finally realize that they need to turn the temperature down on their side. We are 10 years into whatever this Trump madness is, and there is not a single mainstream conservative that will call for a lowering of the temperature on their side. I think that liberals need to wake up and finally realize that if they're not willing to do it, it will never come down. If you wanted Charlie Kirk to be alive, Donald Trump shouldn't have been president for the second term. Every time he's in office, this happens. People joked about when Biden came in, it was so boring, nothing was going on.
You hear what he said there? Every time Trump's in office, this happens. So every time we don't get what we want, we riot and burn and murder.
Yeah, he continues. He continues.
Yeah. I just wanted to break it up so we don't get a strike or something.
Yeah.
But it's just that's literally his point. This happens every time Trump is in office. Violence happens from the left because we don't get our way.
7 out of 10 of the largest protests in American history have happened under Donald Trump. All of the recent political violence that's happened in this country over the past 20 years, the majority of it, the overwhelming majority of it, everybody gets mad because they keep asking Grok about it, has been conservative.
Who shot Charlie Kirk?
A guy from Utah who was raised in a Christian family, who was a 22-year-old.
The guy described Destiny.
He didn't have a trans girlfriend. He didn't have any trans influences. He didn't have any trans bullets. Yeah, I'm sorry. You guys were wrong on all of that.
To be clear, the government of Utah.
We were wrong on none of it.
Investigation has now established that he had been radical.
But that's what we're up
he's
against.
Still going on there saying that after it's all come out. His boyfriend was trans. He was radically left. He was sort of at odds with his whole family. I mean, just one point after another. He just sit there and blatantly lied. That's called gaslighting right there. He lied about the facts. And his side believes what he is saying. Yeah. That's how this gets pushed forward.
You heard what he said. All of these riots were under Trump. All of this violence. It's like, okay, perpetrated by whom?
Yeah.
That's the part he's leaving out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, perpetrated by whom, Destiny? Finish the thought. But it doesn't just, oh, this one guy was violent. Okay, what were his beliefs? Well, that doesn't matter. Trump was president.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. You know,
if you want people to stop being killed and to be alive, then don't elect Donald Trump. That's basically what he's saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're at about an hour and 10.
Yeah, so we're gonna end
guys for you guys having to listen to Destiny at the end of it.
Were there any other comments that we didn't get to?
Yeah, when we were talking about the ICE story, Troy was talking about all these future scientists deported. They send us their best, and we just keep sending them back. And JG says Destiny's a complete lunatic, and Troy agrees.
Absolutely.
But it is, and like you said, it should be qualified as a mental illness. How knowing just objectively. Knowing what you know and getting on there and saying what he said, and he still thinks they're the good guys.
This guy is a complete.
He's a complete lunatic, or it's for nothing but clicks, or he's self-destructing
it's a combination of all of the above. This clown, I think, even promoting it, but it does need to be highlighted that Twitch is doing nothing. I don't know if he's on Twitch. I know that. Yeah. So Twitch is doing nothing about any of this, and I think pressure needs to be put on not just Twitch, but the advertisers that are over on Twitch, because these people preaching death and destruction and publicly cheering for an innocent man getting gunned down is just, and then talking about his family. I mean, these people have no depths they won't reach to. So as far as I'm concerned, these people are just freaking demons. And
you've got an entire generation, Matt, that I would say easily 60, 65, 70% of their interactions, of their conversations are had through a screen.
Yeah.
They're not had face to face.
I just saw a girl got expelled, and I was wondering if she was on some sort of government. Well, I know she was. She had to.
The one in Texas?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think these people coming out that are on public assistance, if they're coming out with these cheering and dancing in the street and calling for people to go after their family too, they need to have their public assistance removed. And I mean, they need to have that public assistance permanently removed. And we're going to pay for these people? Are you kidding me? That are out there preaching murder and everything else?
Well, there are a lot of the immigrants that are here on whatever passes, green cards, whatever they have. They're like, no. I mean, and again, the thing is, when they come here, they agree to abide by certain sets of rules and decorum. You're here as a guest, which is no different. I mean, to the government.
Wait a second. Was that girl in Texas an immigrant?
No. I'm talking about some others.
Oh, okay.
Others that are being, having their status revoked. And it's like, I'm sorry, you come into my house and start pissing in the sink and shitting in the trash can, you're leaving. If you can't come in and be a decent person and, just do what needs to, it's this. I'm going to be, I guess I'm going to be, crap. What's the one when you don't like other countries or iconoclast or whatever, this isn't your fight. This isn't your problem. These are our politics. I'm not going to go to Germany and start marching around in the street because I don't like what, some German politician is doing. Not my country, not my monkey, not my circus. I'm here for another purpose. But I don't know. It's just.
Well, we gotta wrap this up, Stu. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. I want to thank the people who put out the prayers for Goose. And I want to thank you guys for being patriots like I do every week, because you guys are patriots. We also want to put out prayers for Charlie Kirk and his family and for our country, to be honest with you. Our country's in a bad place. We discussed it all tonight. We will be back here next week at the same time and to continue the discussions with you patriots. I'm going to double check the email again tonight, Troy, and I will reach out to you. I'm assuming your contact information is in there. So thank you again for joining us. Live in freedom every day. Stu, do you have anything you want to say to close out?
Yeah, I just wanted to not to be a doomer and gloomer, but you guys know where you live. You guys know the climate and what's going on in your locale. Just be aware of your surroundings, what's going on. Don't be walking around with your face in your phone. Just be aware, know what's going on around you, take care of yourselves and your loved ones.
Yes. Be in condition yellow. If you know Colonel Jeff Cooper's color codes of awareness, be in condition yellow, aware, right? So, all right, guys. Thank you.
Doesn't mean you got to be jumpy. Just be aware.
Yep. Live in freedom every day. We'll see you guys next week.
See you Tuesday.